reality experience is continuously discontinuous. Reality is constantly, incessantly, always changing. In fact, you can't have a reality experience without change. Change is the core component to any and all perceptions. Consciousness cannot exist without change. It is the glue, holding together all experiences consciousness can have within itself. Reality experience, as such, is an expression of constant change, and that constant change is an expression of discontinuity. Change itself is discontinuity. Discontinuity is the quality of separation with regard to a space-time locational variable. The position of one object in space and time is a unique position that cannot be duplicated. From the human perspective, these various locational expressions of an object is expressed linearly, which generates the illusion of continuity. The illusion of continuity is being experienced by you right now in order for you to comprehend this sentence. It is the idea that you are in the same room watching the same video as the same person. The reality of discontinuity is also now being experienced by you as well. It is the fact that you are constantly in a different room, having completely new experiences of a completely new version of yourself in every different moment that you choose to label a certain way. Nothing is ever truly the same. Obviously, in colloquial talk, it makes sense to perpetuate the continuity illusion because the human experience is all about identity focus and continuity. You wouldn't be able to function very productively, if at all, if at every moment you truly and completely disregarded the last moment. The continuity element allows for your life to have the necessary story component so things have context and make sense in your reality. The human brain functions off this continuity experience through behaviors such as neuroplasticity and the various expressions of memory, behavior ritualization, and any kind of identification at all. This story quality is what makes you human and is what allows for all the curiously rich experiences life has to offer. But it's also useful to understand that this story is built upon a kind of non-story. And both the story and non-story are real expressions of what and who you are as a consciousness. This non-story phenomenon bears a similar relationship to your life story as space-time does with here now. It is a constant perception within your continuity experience that what you are calling continuity is a self-perpetuating mass hallucination. The experience of perceiving it as a hallucination is only available because of the discontinuity non-story quality reality experience also has. This concept of experiencing the now moment as a founding hallucination, as a solid dream, is the feeling of being stranded in one constantly changing moment, wherein you auto-pretend that there are multiple separate moments and have that automatic pretending experience be physically, mentally, and emotionally real. It's the recognition that you only exist in the moment, and your natural, real projections of past and future are still just projections. The fact that you create continuity using discontinuity is proof that you exist as and beyond your life story, which is why you have the capacity to alter it and experience it within your consciousness as an experience of self. What's being explained is the amazing epiphany that although you may have photos of family, friends, and yourself, in the non-story context, those entities aren't really family, friends, and yourself. In the non-story context, you only exist in the moment and can choose to make mental associations about other entities and phenomena in time. It's all one experience of multidimensional self-reflection. This may seem like the non-story context is just ignoring reality, because obviously your mom is still biologically your mom, whether you acknowledge that or not. But in truth, In mechanical axiomatic fact, the concept of you being born and you having siblings or no siblings, and so being your parents, is a space-time story being created in the moment for a logical context of the physical universe you are now experiencing. You could just as easily say Elvis and Miss Frizzle are your parents, but that wouldn't be logical because it goes against basic physical evidence. The non-story context is another way of logically defining the physical universe and isn't the same as validating nonsense. Speaking of physical evidence, remember, there is only one moment that changes. The universe you behold is just materialized stuff. It doesn't need a reason to exist because it already does. The logical stories you apply to this stuff are created in the moment for a unique volumetric perspective of experiencing this one ever-changing point of existence. Let's say you have one thing that turns into two things. The story perspective would say, the one thing split in two. The non-story perspective would say, there are two things. How those two things came to be doesn't affect what they are now, but can help explain what they are now from a more multidimensional space-time perspective. So the reason why your parents are also not your parents is because of the contextual definition of you. The human body you has parents. The timeless consciousness you does not. The timeless consciousness you and the human body you are not separate. The body is a momentary time focus within the timeless consciousness. Both the story context and non-story context are philosophies of denying reality only when not coupled together. The story of life is paradoxically both real and an illusion. Looking at a baby photo in the non-story context is no different than looking at the enigmatic darkness of space. Reality itself is a boundless plenum of information, and you are observing a focused portion of what you exist as in the moment, and that's it. No story, no beginning, no ending, no middle, and no outside. Just pure self-awareness, constantly automatically choosing and constantly automatically changing, merely as an expression of what is. You are the universe.